this video, we're going to be breaking down my minimalist trading setup and also just discuss why I use the absolute bare minimum for when it comes to trading, right? And now I'm going to be talking about my experiences and my opinions on other trading setups. Now, I'm not going to go too technical with specs on, my laptop or my desktop, simply because I don't think that really matters. And I hope I don't offend any of the, the tech nerds or anything like that. And the reason I just don't think specs matter is because at this time and age, pretty much any computer or laptop you buy is capable to do what you need for trading. Right now, I have a $2,000 laptop, and I don't think it's something that anyone needs to have for trading. I simply just have it because I do a lot of music production for fun on the side, along with video editing. So that's just what I use for that, niche or that, that industry. But as far as trading, honestly, I could have just bought like a MacBook or maybe just a $600 laptop and been perfectly fine. I mean, in reality, you just need some decent RAM, a decent processor, and maybe just, decent displays, right? That's it. So not going to get too technical just because I don't think it's very important at all. Now, what I want to talk about is, first of all, why I use a laptop. So I used to trade just strictly off a desktop, simply just because that's all I had. And I was perfectly fine with my custom built PC. It was like only $1,000. But the reason why I transitioned to trading with a laptop is simply just because in 2019, I was going on vacation in New York to visit family, and I was staying over at my cousin's house, and I didn't have a portable trading setup. And to, kind of find an alternative to still trade while I was in New York, I just used my cousin's iPad, and then I executed trades off my phone. And it was such a terrible experience that I thought to myself, I think I want to invest into a laptop so that if I do want to trade at home, I could just trade at home. If I ever travel, I'll just trade on my laptop. And I also had this idea, if I ever want to, trade in a coffee shop instead of always just trading at home, it'd be cool to just kind of have a different environment around you. But I do want to provide something. I don't recommend you trade in any coffee shop. I don't recommend you trade in any McDonald's or any other place that's public. I think it's cool, to trade, maybe at family's house, or maybe you rent a vacation home. Cool, right? The reason I say why you don't want to really trade at a public place is because you're going to have a bunch of people approaching you with their thoughts and their opinions on the stock market and politics. I remember I used to trade in Tallahassee at a McDonald's, and I would constantly have people asking me questions like, "Oh, what are you looking at? Is that the stock market?" And it was kind of annoying. So I just scratched that off the list. But it's still cool to have a laptop for portable trading. Now, I do have a second monitor that I have with my laptop. This was a recent purchase, very recent. And the reason I have that set up is simply just because I was toggling between a 5-minute chart to a 1-hour chart to a 5-hour chart so often, and I was dealing with it fine. But it came to a point where it's like, okay, stop being so cheap, just invest in another monitor. Now, I do want to talk about people that use 5 monitors, 10 monitors. I want to talk about this, right? Because I think as a trader, we see a lot of these other traders online, and we see how they have all these monitors, all these screens in front of them. And we start to think to ourselves, maybe, I'm not as successful as that trader because they have all these monitors and I don't have that. And that's absolutely not true. I could tell you from experience, I traded with just off the desktop and just off the laptop perfectly fine for about 4 years without even using a second monitor. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I think it's a luxury, but it's not something you definitely need. I think oftentimes people kind of have this misconception that, they need all this equipment, but it's not really the equipment that you have. It's actually the skill that you possess. So hopefully that's really the main message for this video, that you can have a minimalist setup and still be successful in the market. I'm all about minimalism. I even have another video talking about my minimalist approach to trading in the stock market, so definitely check that out. But regardless, I do have a second monitor, and I do plan on actually having dual monitors along with my laptop. But again, I don't want to get too crazy with 10 monitors in front of my eyes. I think that could actually be counterintuitive sometimes, simply just because you might be looking at too much. But again, I just want to have, I think 2 monitors is definitely something that, in my opinion, would be something that would work well for me. I think right now with my setup of having a laptop and a monitor is fine, but I do want to just have another screen just so I could look at market internals and see like what the market is doing. For example, I think it'd be kind of beneficial to have, something like QQQ up, or just the NASDAQ futures, just to see like how the tech sector is doing in an overall day, while still having a 5-minute chart on Tesla along with a 4-hour chart on Tesla, right? right? So I think that's the only reason why I would have 3 screens. But again, not necessary. It's just a luxury. I think right now I'm fine with my just extra monitor with my laptop. In fact, I was actually fine with just my laptop, but I just decided why not kind of go more for the luxurious things in life, right? But anyways, let's go ahead and also talk about a few more things. So the next topic I really want to emphasize on when it comes to setting up your trade station is really the importance of having an ergonomic setup, right? Now, the reason why I stress on this is simply just because when it comes to trading, you're going to be sitting down at this desk for hours at a day every single day, right? And that could cause a lot of harm and pain to your body. It could take a toll on you. Now, granted, I know that, sitting down at a desk is not as physically demanding as maybe someone working at, Amazon, getting beaten down by like a 2x4 by Mr. Jeff Bezos to make sure those packages come on time. Trading is not as labor intensive as that, I know, but it is going to be important to have the right posture, because believe it or not, having a poor posture sitting at the desk is going to be painful, right? So you want to make sure you get a comfy chair. Doesn't matter what chair you get, as long as you feel comfortable with it and as long as you have the right posture. Another thing that I really want to talk about is why you're going to want to get one of these, right? Now, these are blue light glasses. They're very cheap. I got these for like $10 from Amazon. And they're really vital to anyone who is going to be trading for. Actually, I take that back. They're vital for anyone just living in this day and age, simply just because, we look at screens all day, and it's just simply just protection from the harmful rays that, emit from these screens that we look at almost all the time. Even if you're someone who's not trading, your schedule probably looks like this, where you wake up from bed and you got to look at your screen to shut off the alarm clock on your phone. And then throughout the day, you're probably like on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you're on, you're probably looking at the screen. So even if you're not trading, I recommend get those glasses. But specifically if you're trading and you're going to be looking at charts all day and you're going to be looking close at the charts, you're definitely going to want to invest in some blue light glasses. So the way that I utilize this minimalist setup is very simple. For example, if I'm trading a underlying asset, like just a stock like Apple in this example, I'll just also have on a smaller screen the NASDAQ futures. Just as you can see, if you look closely, they resemble each other very close, right? You see how the Apple does follow the NASDAQ, obviously, because Apple is in the NASDAQ and the NASDAQ is very tech heavy. Now, another way that I utilize this setup is simply by doing something like trading options, where if I'm looking at the underlying asset like Apple and I want to trade options, I'll simply just visit the option chain, copy whatever, strike price that I'm trading, and then I'll go ahead and input it in this screen right here. So for this example, and now we have that, strike price at about $133 for Apple put up on this screen. And then back on this screen, I'll go back to trading Apple, just seeing how the underlying asset is doing while I'm also trading the contracts. So that's really how I utilize this simple setup. Nothing too crazy, nothing complicated. Again, simply all I need. I don't need more, although maybe one more screen, but that just might be me being excessive. I think 2 screens is just fine, and to do what you need to do. So in the description of this video, I'm going to include some links of some of the gear that I do have. But again, the whole purpose of this video was actually to show you guys that you don't need a lot to trade. I am getting a little more comfier now, where I'm getting more equipment. But other than that, it's still pretty much a simple setup compared to other traders online. And also, before I even had this whole setup, I used to trade, like I said, on a laptop or just on a desktop with just one screen. And if you guys followed me on Instagram, by the way, my Instagram is at Justin Fernil. I was averaging anywhere from $700 to $2,000 a day. Now, granted, those numbers aren't anything excessive, nothing to really, be braggadocious about. But, it's definitely something that is a decent amount of profit per day with just someone who was trading off a laptop. So with that being said, I really hope this video inspires you to and kind of motivate you that, you don't need all this stuff to become a better trader. Yeah, granted, later on you could start kind of building up and getting more gear, but I still like to have a small, simple setup. With that being said, though, make sure to check out the links in the description, because I'm also going to include a link to my free Facebook group, and essentially it's just a community that I'm building of individuals interested in trading in the stock market, and definitely, something you want to check out. And now another link that I want to plug in there is just a link for Webull. So if you're a broker curious and you're wondering what platform to use to trade, I always recommend Webull for individuals who are getting started in the market. They definitely have a lot of tools, a lot of screeners that can help you become a better trader. So definitely check out that link in the description below. And with that being said, guys, my name is Justin from Push and Profit, and I'll see you on the next video.